Hi everyone, it's Barry here from Mitosu Crafts. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining me for this Fun Fold Friday video. Tonight I'm going to be showing you how to make this portrait easy stepper card. So it's really simple to do, and this is what I'm going to show you how to make tonight. Okay, so first of all I will go through the products I have used, or I will be using for this, and then I go through the measurements and the scoring for all of this, and so it's easy for you to follow. I have done it. I'm going to be working in centimeters for the actual project, but I will pop some inches measurements down in the description below, so do please make sure you go and check those out if you would prefer them in inches, and they will all be down, as I said, down below for you. You'll also find other links as well down below, so links to our online shop, links to our website, links to our blog, and anything else we think you may find interesting down below. We sell some tutorials as well, so you can find links to those down below as well. Remember, we are independent Stampin' Up demonstrators, so if you like anything you see us use, you can purchase from us. So if you live in the UK, France, Germany, Netherlands or Austria, and so sorry about that, Tommy has decided to join me. If you live in any of those, so where did I get up to? If you live in the UK, France, Germany, Netherlands, Austria, Belgium and Ireland, you can shop with us. So again, do check out the links down below if you'd like to purchase anything from us and head over to our online shop. So good, I'm going to crack straight on before Tommy decides to jump on the table once again, and let's show you how to make this lovely portrait easy stepper card. So the products I will be using is for embellishments. I'm going to be using the Baker's Twine Essentials packs. I'm going to be using the white one out of this. So you get you get 5 spools in here. That's that one. I would also be using the Iridescent Pearls Basic Jewels, so that's here for the embellishments. And stamp sets, I'm going to be using the Celebrating You stamp set, which is this one here, which is a really lovely sentiment stamp set. It's got some nice ones on here, some generic ones, some good ones. So you've got your Father's Day, you've got your birthday on here, you've got your Easter, and so on. So you've got some really nice sentiments, so one to have in your stash, I think, anyway. I would also be using the Brilliant Wings dies. I brought out the stamp set to show you because the dies coordinate with the stamp set. I'm not going to be using the stamp set tonight, but I am going to be using the Brilliant Wings dies for this one here this evening. And I would also be using some of the stitched rectangle dies as well for the sentiment. The papers I'm going to be using are some of the free papers which you can get. So currently at the moment until the 28th of February there is the Sale-a-bration promotion going on, and I'm going to be using the Designer Series paper from here, which you can get free of charge with a £90 order. I'm going to be using the Dandy Designs 12x12 Designer Series paper pack, and you get this free. It's a bumper pack as well, and it's got some lovely papers. It's a really big stack of paper on there, 48 sheets, 4 of each design, double-sided. So that's what I'm going to be using this evening for this as well. So check that one out on page 14 of the Sale-a-bration catalogue, that you can purchase anything from the annual or the mini catalogue if you would like to. So that's the items I'm going to be using, so the stamp sets and the products. As for the actual card itself, I'm going to be using basic white as my card base. So what you will need is 2 pieces, one measuring 10.5 centimeters by 28 centimeters. So straight again, 10.5 by 28. And you will need another piece here measuring 5.5 centimeters by 28. So that's what you would need for your card base. You will need 3 pieces of Designer Series paper. So I have got myself here this one. So this one here is going to be 10 centimeters by 2.5 centimeters. I've also got another one which is measuring 5 centimeters by 13.5 centimeters, and I've got this one here which is measuring 10 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. So that's what you need. So that's the measurements you need for your actual project itself. I'm going to be using some scrap for my sentiment. I've got myself a little bit of vellum for cutting out the butterfly, and I've got myself a little bit of the distressed gold paper here as well for cutting out the butterflies. So that's what I'm going to be using for those. So let's go straight on with the actual card itself. First of all, I'm going to do my die cutting pieces. So I've got everything prepared. So I'm going to take these 2 pieces here, and I'm going to be taking my big machine. So let's just bring that over. So, and I will need my butterflies. Alright, so the butterflies I'm going to be using this detail butterfly here for the gold, and I'm going to be using this big butterfly one, so I can say it pairs up with the stamp set, which I showed you, and I'm going to be using that big butterfly right there. I'll show you what I mean in a moment when I come to cut it. So first things first, let's do the big butterfly on the vellum. So I've got myself a bit of vellum cut down to size. Now I'm just going to position that butterfly in there, and then I'm just going to cut that out. And there we have, we've got a lovely butterfly cut out there in the vellum. Then once you've done that one there, take your your gold piece, and then you want to then cut another one out, the detail thing. So I've got a big piece right here, but I've got this offcut which fits one of these in perfectly. So I'm just going to utilise this one here. And then we will then have the butterfly which comes out like this. So if you're lucky, everything will come out straight away. If you're not, then what you need to do is just grab yourself like a little one of these brushes which fits onto the back end of your wrong side. Fits onto your take your pick tool, so you can take this one out. You can pop your brush in, and then you can then run this along, and then you can then remove all of those pieces. So any of those bits which are just sticking in there a little bit too long can just be helped out with this brush. And then there's a few which you might just need to just pull out, just attach. There's always one, and that's when you use the pokey end tool just to push it out. So there we have a lovely detailed cut there. You may have noticed that I run it through the machine forward and backwards a couple of times, especially with detailed ones. It's just a little bit. It's quite helpful just to go forward and backwards a few times to make sure it cuts. And move your die around if you're struggling to make sure you're getting a decent cut. Just move it around in different areas so that the pressure is different. So it's a little bit of a tip there for you. So I have got my vellum butterfly, I've got my gold butterfly, so just pop those to one side. I'm going to also do my sentiment whilst I've got it, so I'm going to grab myself a bit of scrap paper. I'm going to grab myself a little bit of, actually I'm going to go with a coloured one this time, I reckon. So I'm just going to grab myself Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape. So I've got myself some Gorgeous Grape here, and I'm just going to ink up the happy birthday sentiment from the Celebrating You stamp set, and I'm just going to pop this into some scrap, leaving myself enough room because I'm going to run this through the die cutter machine again. So we're just going to do that there. I'm just going to have another go at that. I just pushed a little bit too hard on my Y. There we go, that's better. You see what I mean? I just pushed it a little bit too hard on my Y on that side, and it was the line was just a little bit too heavy for me. So I've just done it again that side there, a little bit less pressure, but I've got now a nice even thing. So remember, paper has got two sides, so it doesn't matter. And I'm going to take the rectangle here from the stamp set, from the die sets and the rectangle shapes, and we're just going to cut this out. There we have it. That there is the sentiment cut there, and it gives a nice lovely stitched edge to this as well. So really good staple die which I would have in your collection. So that's that. So we've now got the butterfly done, we've got in both the vellum and the gold, we've got the sentiment prepared, and that's it. I have gone ahead and I've already gone and done a bow, so using that baker's twine I've got myself a bow which is all ready. Figured I would do this off camera because I do have a love-hate relationship with bows, and I wanted to make sure it got ready, it was nice and tidy. But yeah, just spend a little bit of time getting your bow nice and tidy, and I'm going to put that on as well. So I've got that prepared. So let's come over to the actual project, the actual card base itself. So you want to bring your trimmer or your scoring, or something which you've got your scoring ability, and we are going to score on the long edge at 3 centimeters. So our trimmer has got the 3 centimeters both sides. So for small pieces, anything under like 3.5 centimeters, work on this side over here. So I'm going to work on 3 centimeters, and then I'm going to then just rotate it around and now work on the rest of everything over this side here. So 3, 6, and then 17. That's that one. And then the strip piece, we're just going to do this at 14 centimeters. So it's just basically in half. Okay. And that's all the scoring done. So you just want to fold and burnish your pieces. So fold and burnish this strip piece first. Okay. And then with this one, we want to do, this is a mountain. So that first fold, that first score line as a mountain. Then we want to do a valley, so it's kind of like gone in on itself like that. And then we want to do a mountain again. So that's those ones. So we will stick on some designer series paper. So we've got a piece which can go on the front one here. Then we're then going to pop this piece on that one, and then we're going to then stick that piece on that one right there. So there we have it. That there is the design series paper popped onto the card. So we're now just ready to now just stick this down and actually then make the fold itself, and then it's down to you for decorations, but I'll show you how I've done mine. But all this really is a matter of then just gluing, putting a little bit of glue on like this bottom 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters, and then sticking it centrally to that front panel there. Only this part here you want to be sticking it to. So make sure you don't go too high on any glue, otherwise it would end up sticking to the back here. So just a little bit of glue on the bottom panel on this one here. And you'll work in stages, so don't be tempted to glue the back at the same time. Just glue the front first. So you can see a little bit of glue on like that. And stick that centrally to that front panel, okay? Just like that. And just let that set up for a second. And position. Obviously the glory with wet glue is that you can manipulate it. You've got a little bit of wiggle room if you need to manipulate it and move it around if necessary, which is why I love Tombow. Is great. So if you are looking for glue, I would highly recommend Tombow liquid glue. It's a two-way multi-purpose glue as well, so if you put it down and then stick it to something instantly, it becomes a permanent glue. If you pop it on something and then let it dry and then you then stick it to something, it then becomes a repositionable glue. Okay, so you've got a two-way liquid glue. Really, really good glue. So once that's stuck to the front, fold the thing flat, and then what you want to be doing is you want to be popping glue on the back panel here all the way down to the bottom, but just make sure it goes where it falls on the bottom, because if it falls a little bit too short, don't go down too low like mine is. But again, all the imperfections are hidden at the back. So you just pop some glue down there, and then hold it flat, and then just bring this over and then glue it down whilst it's flat. If you do it whilst it's flat, then it will go into your envelope perfect. Okay, if you try and make sure that goes down to the bottom, you'll get a slight buckle to it, and then obviously it's going to add more height to your card when you pop it in an envelope. So do it flat, and that's down. And there we have it. That there is the easy stepper card for you. Okay, now for decoration, we will then bring in everything which we have got. So we've got my butterfly, we have got the vellum, and then we have got the piece right there and the twine, and I've got my sentiment, which is right here. So with the butterfly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on his body at the back there, and stick him to the, or her, however you want it, to the vellum butterfly, like that, centrally in there, And this is just going to help diffuse it a little bit. And then once that's stuck, we can then start to bring up a little bit of, bring up the wings. We can then start to just manipulate it if we can. Okay. Once we've got that done, then we then want to then stick that one onto, again, a bit of glue on the body at the back here. And then you can then stick that down onto the card centrally in there. Like so. Okay. We will take a glue dot and our take your pick tool. So let's bring this over again. Glue dot here, and I think a glue dot there in the middle. If necessary, you can fold the glue dot over so it's not too wide, because we're going to have a small knot here. And then position your little bow in the center of your butterfly, like that. If need be, just manipulate it a little bit, centralize it. There we have it. So that's that. We will take some of the dimensionals and we will pop those on the back of the sentiment here. So I've got the large dimensionals, and then let's just pop those on here. Let's use a couple of those. And then we'll pop that on the bottom. Like so. And then that can go in centrally on that part down there. Like that. And then to finish off, we will just grab some of those iridescent pearls basic jewels, and we will position those around the card. So I've got Tommy is hovering around again, so he knows I'm coming to an end. So we are going to pop some of these around. I'm going to have one on the back over here, like that. And then we're going to have some of the smaller ones. One smaller one going up the top here, like that. And then we'll grab one of the larger ones again. On that one down there, like that there. And that's just giving a little bit of sparkle to that card as well. And that's it. There we have it. We have got our portrait, or our upright, however you want to call it, easy stepper card. Now obviously there are ways where you can get your trimmer out and then you can cut lines and then you can fold it here, there and everywhere, but they're a little bit more advanced. Sometimes you just need a simple card, and this is one way of doing it. And I think it's still just as effective. You're always going to get it nice and perfect every single time, and it's a really easy way of doing it. So I would highly recommend you have a go at doing this if you are interested in stepper cards. But there we have it. Let's bring it up a little bit closer so you can see the detail in that one. Really, really love how that looks. Love this paper as well. Remember, this is paper which is free of charge currently at the moment during Sale-a-bration up to the 28th of February 2023. So you've still got a few days to be able to get hold of that if you would like it. If not, I'm sure if it's out to that time, I'm sure you will have lots of paper, or there's plenty of new paper in the catalogue which you can choose from, which will be just as perfect. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that video for you today. Like I said, let's have that stands up perfectly as well. But I hope you've enjoyed that video today. Do please give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Remember, links to anything we think you may find interesting can be found down below in the description. And on that note, let's say goodbye, and we will see you again very soon, hopefully for another Fun Fold Friday next week, or in a couple of weeks' time. Anyway, keep an eye on our channel, okay? Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye.